Is your church the best kept secret in town? Well, stick around because in this video, we're going to be talking about how to market your church, and we'll give you 3 tips for how to get new visitors every single Sunday. Coming up. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back. If we're meeting for the first time, my name is Chris Abbott, but all my friends just call me Abbo. And I've been helping churches with social media and how to market their church for the last 7 years. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to break down some of the most powerful tips that I have learned over the last several years working with over 4,000 churches. So we're going to be talking about the 4 platforms that your church needs to be on right now. And we're going to give you 3 tips on how to grow your church. And tip number 3, I've personally used to help churches generate over 7,000 new families in the last 18 months. So let's dive in. All right, so the first platform that you need to be on is Google, right? And you probably know that. You're probably wondering, hey, Chris, how do I get my church higher up in the Google ranking, right? Or how do we make sure to show up on Google Maps? Well, one of the best tips that I can give you is to go to moz.com/local, right? moz.com/local. Moz will actually help you get your local search engine optimization up, and it's actually super simple. You can sign up and you can get everything going in about 15 minutes, and you're gonna watch your church's ranking in Google steadily increase over the next several months. In fact, this is one of the first things I did for my church when I first took over the website and started building everything. Is I went in and I just set up through Moz Local a bunch of local search engine optimization, and I just got a text message from Google that last month we had over 42,000 people that found our church through Google simply by using a little known website called moz.com. So that's the first platform that you have to be on. It's Google. One of the best ways to do that is with moz.com. Right? The second platform that you need to be on is Facebook. Now, there's 2.7 billion people on Facebook and 1.8 billion log in every single day, which means Facebook is the single largest missions field the church has ever seen. So at this point, it's just simply too big to ignore. So we need to show up there and invite people to church. All right, the third platform is Instagram, right? The cool thing is Facebook owns Instagram, right? So on Facebook, there's 2.7 billion people. On Instagram, there's another billion people, right? So now you have a huge reach by showing up on both platforms, and because Instagram's demographic tends to trend younger, you're going to reach a lot more of the younger Gen Z and then millennials, especially if you're trying to reach young families with kids. And finally, the fourth platform that you need to be utilizing is chatbots, right? Now, chatbots are kind of like automated sequences that live inside of Facebook and Instagram. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how to utilize them here in this video. But chatbots are absolutely the future. In fact, I know of a church of 40 people that had 22 new people join their church in the first 3 weeks when they started using chatbots. So Google, Facebook, Instagram, and chatbots, those are the 4 platforms that you need to be in if you're trying to market your church and reach more people. So let's dive in and let's talk about 3 tips that you can use in order to start attracting new visitors every single Sunday. All right, tip number 1, Facebook and Instagram ads. Now, we already talked about how Facebook has 2.7 billion people and Instagram has another 1 billion people. Well, you can actually create targeted ads on both platforms and it doesn't cost anything extra. So a lot of people don't know this. You can run Instagram ads simply by setting up a Facebook ad. In fact, the only way to set up an Instagram ad is by actually going into the Facebook ads dashboard. So just to be clear, we're not talking about a boosted post, right? That's something different, but a targeted Facebook ad. So the way to know the difference is if you're going onto your Facebook page or on Instagram, right? And then you're actually clicking on the boost post and you're paying $5, $10, $20 to boost that post out to more people, right? That's a boosted post. But a Facebook ad is where you actually go to the ads manager and you set up a targeted ad to people who live within driving distance of your church. So the way that you do that is by going to facebookads.com/ads manager, all one word, facebook.com/ads manager. And then you can actually go in and set up a targeted Facebook ad. And then you have the option to also run that on Instagram. So my favorite way to do this, if you're just starting out, is to create a simple ad like a prayer ad. So you can set up a Facebook ad optimized for messages, and you can literally just say, hey, Tulsa, how can I pray for you this week? So when people click on that ad, it'll actually go into your church Facebook Messenger, and now they can submit a prayer request, and you can have a one-on-one ministry conversation with that person without ever leaving Facebook. So the cool thing is Instagram has just rolled out this feature as well, where now you can actually run people from Instagram into your Instagram direct messages, and now you can answer any questions they have about the church, you can pray for them, but you can have a one-on-one ministry conversation, and the best part is it doesn't cost anything extra. Literally, as you set up your Facebook ad, ad, you have the choice to run them on Facebook, and you can actually start running them on Instagram as well for no extra charge. All right, and lastly, one of my favorite reasons to use Facebook is because the largest age demographic on Facebook are people ages 25 to 34. So if your church happens to be specifically trying to target young families, especially young families with elementary school age kids, that's over a third of the people on Facebook, because their largest age demographic are people ages 25 to 34. So Facebook is the perfect place to be able to reach them. All right, tip number 2, plan your visit. Now, if you've watched any of my videos and you're familiar with any of my content, you've heard me talk about this a million times because I'm so pumped about Plan Your Visit. If you're unfamiliar with it, this is simply the ability to give someone the option of signing up and basically scheduling an appointment to visit your church on Sunday, right? So it's real simple. They can basically go on your website or through Facebook Messenger or on your landing page, and they just fill out their name, email, and phone number, and then you get a notification that John Smith has planned a visit and is coming to church this Sunday, right? So now you can reach out to him, you can have a conversation with him before he shows up. You can assign a friendly person to host him, basically meet him at the front door, help him get his kids checked in, give him a tour of the building, introduce him around to some key staff and leaders, and make sure that he meets you as the pastor, because 80% of people who meet the pastor on the first visit will come back for a second visit. So pretty simple, just make sure you have a friendly host waiting for them at the front door. They sign up for Plan Your Visit, and now they basically have a best friend waiting for them the first time they visit church. So the first time that we started doing this at my church back in 2017, we actually increased our first-time visitors in the first month by 42% using Plan Your Visit. And then we went on to increase our new visitors by 60% in month 2, 87% in month 3, and 113% in month 4, right? So at that point, we actually started teaching this to churches all over the country, and then they started seeing similar results. So I'm telling you, if you're not doing Plan Your Visit right now, this is one of the most powerful things that you can utilize at your church in order to not only attract new visitors, but also speed up the natural assimilation process at your church as well, because the people that come out and they meet a host, they're making a personal connection with someone at your church the very first time they visit. So before I get to my last point and show you how we've helped attract over 7,000 new families to churches around the US, make sure to subscribe to this channel. We're putting out new videos every single day, 5 days a week, in order to help you with social media, Plan Your Visit, and technology, and ultimately to be able to reach new people for your church. All right, tip number 3, chatbots. Now, we talked about this as one of the 4 platforms that you need to be on, so I wanted to expand on this a little bit and show you exactly how you can use chatbots in your church and why they're so powerful. In fact, I recently helped a church of 15 people grow to 50 in only 2 months using chatbots. We also had a church of 60 that grew to 110 in 3 months, and we had a church plant of 130 that broke the 200 barrier in only 3 months and actually had their 2 largest membership classes of people actually joining the church in July and August, right? So while everyone else is going through the summer slump, they were using chatbots to go from 130 to 200 in 3 months over the summer, and they broke the 200 barrier in the middle of July. So let's dive in and kind of take a look on exactly how you can use chatbots to attract new families to your church. All right, so the best way to do this is to use something like ManyChat.com. What I like to recommend for churches when you're first getting into it is actually create a Facebook ad, like we talked about in tip number 1, optimized for messages that's going to send people into Facebook Messenger. And now what we can do is we can actually set up a chatbot, which is just a series of automated responses in order to be able to take care of those prayer requests that are coming in and then lead them to an invite to church. So the best thing about this is we're actually leading with ministry, not marketing. All right, this is one of my favorite ways to be able to engage your community in a way that's ministry first, right? So what most people do is they invite people to church so they can do ministry. And it seems to make sense, right? If we can get them in the door, we can get them saved, get them baptized, get them plugged into a small group or a serve team. But if you flip that and you actually do ministry first and then invite people to church, then you're gonna see a lot more visitors and you're actually gonna accelerate your results. So your automated responses to chatbots should simply collect that prayer request, thank them for submitting it, and then invite them out to church. And I like to invite them to Plan a Visit, where now we collect their name, email, and phone number, and we can follow up with them and actually host them on Sunday morning. All right, and here's a little bonus tip, right? This is one of the things I've been using for years, and it's actually really effective at helping you turn first-time visitors into second-time visitors, right? So this is what I call the Monday morning selfie video. So if you use the 3 tips we just talked about, and you have new families coming in through Facebook ads and Plan Your Visit and chatbots, then what's gonna happen is every Sunday morning, you're gonna have new families coming in. And the best way to follow up with them is on Monday morning, you take all of the Connect cards from the visitors that you had the day before, and you send them a personalized selfie video, right? This is really simple, but you just want to make sure to use their names, to thank them for coming, and then to invite them back next week. So it might look something like this. Hey, John and Susie, what's up? It's Pastor Chris here. Hey, I just wanted to thank you so much for coming to church yesterday. We had such a great time getting to know you and your kids, Kristen and Caleb. So what we want to do is I just want to invite you to come back to church next Sunday. We're doing it again, same time, same place, 10 o'clock. Can you make it? End of video. So all you're doing is you're just making sure to connect them, to thank them for coming out to church, right? And you're giving them a personalized video. You're talking about their kids, right? And then you're inviting them to come out the next Sunday. And the best part is when you end it with a question, something like, can you make it, right? Now it opens up a loop in their brain and they feel on the hook to respond, right? So if they say, yes, we can come, well, they just promised a pastor that they're coming back to church. Or maybe they say, oh, no, we can't because we've actually got, a baseball tournament for little Caleb, but we'll be there next Sunday when we get back in town. Right? So now they just promised a pastor, they're coming back to church. Okay, so we just talked about the 4 platforms that your church should be on and gave you 3 tips for being able to attract new visitors to your church. So I've got a free bonus training if you want to go a little bit deeper with how to set this up at your church. Simply go over to churchgrowthagency.com or click on the link in the description below and go check out that video and we'll show you exactly how you can set that up.